Hey there. So, as mentioned previously, there are a lot of other things that we can do with lists. So today I'll show you some list methods which can perform some useful things for us. Now there is a lot that we can do. Today we'll cover 6 methods in total, 3 that deal with adding items and another 3 that deal with removing items. We'll have another video to deal with miscellaneous other list methods. Okay, so let's go into the terminal here. I've got a list pre-set up with just some numbers in it. Now, all of our methods will use the name of the list followed by a dot and then the method name with any arguments. Now this syntax will be familiar if you saw the lesson on string methods. So let's start with quite a straightforward one called Append. Now we use this to add an item to the end of our list. So if we do nums.append, now it can only take one and only one argument, and the argument is obviously what we want to append. So given what we've got, it makes sense to add the number 10, and you can see that that has been added on to the end there. Now if you try and give it more than one argument, so let's try and add 11 and then 12, we will get an error message. So what you might think you can do is just change that to a list. Now you can do that, that will work. However, what you'll get is a list within a list there. And if that's what you want, then fine, but more often than not, you aren't going to want that at all. So let's just change nums back. That'll do to start with. So there is another method that we can use to add multiple items to the end. Now that's called extend. And again, we can only give this one argument. However, this time, if we give it a list, so let's just add 6, 7, and 8. You can see that's just one consistent list with the numbers 1 through 8 there. So that's fine. However, you may not want to add your item on to the end of the list. You may want to add it elsewhere. So there is another method called insert. Now insert actually takes 2 arguments. The first one will be the index where you want to insert the item, and the second argument will be the actual item. So let's set that up. So let's add a floating point number just somewhere here. So at index 3, where the number 4 is at the moment, I know it can get confusing when we've got numbers and we're talking about index number, but let's put 3.5 in between 3 and 4 there. So we want to give it the index of 3, and we're adding 3.5. Oops, damn you caps lock. And we've now got 3.5 inserted into the list there, so you can see how that works. Okay, moving on to removing items. Now, the most straightforward one is clear. And what this actually does is it empties out the list completely. So there's no arguments. We need our parentheses, as I hope you're becoming familiar with these methods. And we still have the nums list. We don't get an error if we try and call it, but it's now, as you see there, completely empty. So let's just put a few things back in it again. So dot pop is a method we can use to remove a single item from the list. Now, it can take an argument, which is the index that you want to remove. If you don't give it any arguments, it will default to removing the last item, and it does also return the item as well. So what you can do if you want is actually capture the item you're removing in a variable. Okay, so let's remove the first item this time. And we'll capture it in a variable called first, and we want to say nums.pop, and we need to give it the argument this time, which will be 0, of course, for the first item. And then we can see we've got the number 1 in the variable first there, and it's gone from the list, as you can see there. Okay, now the final method we'll cover today is remove. Now this is a bit different because instead of removing by index, we actually remove by the value. Okay, so dot remove will remove the first item whose value is given to it here. So let's just fill nums up a little bit, and we'll put multiple numbers that are the same for demonstration purposes. That'll do. So a key point to note about remove is it will only remove the first instance of the argument you give it. So if we give it 4, it will only remove the first 4. The other 2 are still left there. And one other thing that you'd want to know about remove is if you give it an item that doesn't exist, you will get an error message. So that's something to bear in mind as well. I know we haven't dealt with error handling in any detail yet, but that's good to know, certainly. Okay, so those 6 methods are the ones I wanted to cover. Don't want this video getting too long. So that's it for today. So take care, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.